Artist Production.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Derrick Huggins, aka the Mega Mogul, here with All Access Gospel in the Artist Corner. And listen, before we get into this interview, I need you guys to go follow us right now. Not right now, but right now. That's a little bit more urgent than right now. Need you to go over to our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also need you to go to our website, www.allaccessgospel.com. Subscribe to our mailing list so you can find out all of the great interviews and features and premieres and all the things that we're going to be doing. We need you to do that right now. And then we're on Instagram at AA Gospel and Twitter at AA Gospel and Facebook. Do it now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I've got to introduce this young man that I've been knowing quite a long time. Praise ye the Lord. I think he's saved. I think he's sanctified. If you ever seen him shout, you'll know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, one time, let's give it up for my boy, Mr. Nickolas Lathan. Nickolas, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up, Derrick? How are you?
Oh, man, doing great, doing great. So glad to have you on the Indie Artist Corner. You know, an artist of your caliber to be able to stop by my little corner.
Oh, no.
That's such a blessing. Thank you. So appreciate you. Listen, y'all, so this is Nickolas Lathan, and he has a wonderful group called Unrestricted. He's got some wonderful music out, and we're going to get into that really in a moment. But before we do that, Nickolas, I want you to let everybody know out there that's watching how they can go and follow you on social media.
Okay, well, you can follow me a number of ways, actually. You can follow me on my Facebook page at Sir Nickolas Lathan. Also on Facebook on my ministries page at Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted. And you could also follow me, I'm more so on my Instagram, but you can follow me on my Instagram too, Nickolas Bronson Lathan and Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted as well on Instagram. You can find me any type of way.
Listen, you got a whole lot of pages. So listen, there should be no problem for anybody to find Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted. So Nickolas, I'm so glad to have you on with us. I wanted to just kind of dig into a few things. First of all, I want to start this interview by just having you introduce yourself to those who may not know you. I mean, I know you legendary, but you know, some people don't quite know you. And if they don't, tell them a little bit more about you and the group and how you got everything going.
Well, group, I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and so is my group. And we are officially this year will be 15 years old. So I've had the group for 15 years. And I grew up under the late Reverend Milton Bronson here in Chicago, Illinois, the legendary Reverend Milton Bronson, the Tom
Yes, sir.
And I'm just privileged to be in this gospel industry, and I've had so many great opportunities working with my pastor, Bishop Willie James Campbell, and St. James Church of God. So those opportunities have afforded me great open doors in the music industry, and in the gospel industry. And most people don't know, but Reverend Bronson is my grandfather, so I'm thankful for that, and I'm trying to carry the legacy and keep it going and all of that.
Well, listen, you just said a whole lot that we can unpack, but let's start with the fact that you are from what some would consider the birthplace of gospel music, and that's Chicago, Illinois. I mean, Chicago has produced undeniably some of gospel music's best, from, again, your grandfather, the late Reverend Milton Bronson, to Donald Lawrence, to Ricky Dillard, to, my goodness, the Clara Ward and the Ward Singers. I mean, we could go, there's so many. I get in trouble just trying to name everybody because it's so much rich gospel music legacy that comes out of the city of Chicago. And so as someone who's been able to frequent and visit Chicago, it's apparent. No matter what church I visited there, you're going to get a good buck, a good jump, a good bump, a good shot.
Absolutely.
And some great singing. You're always going to get great singing, great music, musicians. All of that is going down to Chicago. So, but let's talk about really quickly, before we get down to the rest of the interview, about what it was like to come up under such a rich legacy of your grandfather, the late, great Reverend Milton Bronson. What was that like?
Well, I will say that, again, like you said, in Chicago, he was a pastor as well. Not only did he have the Tommies, but he was a pastor, and we had a great dynamic church ministry, because most people don't know that the Tommies were the community choir. So we also had a church choir, and our church choir was just as bad as the Tommies. And so growing up under that was very rewarding. I will say there was no time where you could come to the church on Sundays and you would just get, like you said, a good bump, a good word. The choir was singing, even the children's choir could sing. Children's choir, youth choir, women's choir, combined choir. All the choirs had that flair and that popping that you were looking for. So growing up under that, and Tyrone Block, who was the choir director for the Tommies, who he taught me everything I knew once Reverend Bronson went on to be with the Lord. Very, very, very strict, of course, very, very strict upbringing. Very responsible, had to be responsible, had to have integrity, had to know what you were doing. If you didn't know what you were doing, getting in front of the choir. So a lot of training went into me, into my upbringing, and what I bring to the table as far as being an artist and a choir director and a praise and worship leader. And I keep those same foundational traditions and teachings that I've gotten from Reverend Bronson and Tyrone Block, and I use them today, and they still work.
Yeah, no question about it. And so now here you are, the next generation, moving this legacy forward, man. You got some amazing music out. Hold On, that was you guys' inaugural single. And I remember it fondly, of course. I am, for those of you that know already, I am the CEO of the Key of Gospel Music and Ministry Awards. And we were fortunate to have Nickolas Lathan and UnRestricted at our 3rd annual show. And man, that was a great show all around. I mean, we had Nickolas Lathan and UnRestricted, we had B. Slade, we had Ted Wynn, we had Kevin Lemons. I mean, it was crazy. There was a lot going on that particular year. But listen, let's talk about that really quickly, because you won an award that year, and tell us about what that was like, the award you won, and all that good stuff.
Well, actually, I'll be a little petty. We won 2.
Of course.
We won 2 years in a row, and we won for Vocal Ensemble of the Year. And I will say the first year that I got the call or the notification that we were even nominated was just mind-blowing. My group was flabbergasted. We were shocked. We were very grateful for it because what I love about the Key of Gospel Music Awards and Brother Derrick is that they cater, and well, not necessarily cater, but they give the independent artists and independent leaders a chance to be heard, a chance to be seen. These are people who serve at your local churches, who put their all into it. They don't just do it for the money. They do it because it's their passion, it's their life, it's their calling. And a lot of times we don't get recognized for it. No matter where you come from, what background you come from, you may not ever get that platform for people to hear your music or see you minister. And so the Key of Gospel Awards did that for UnRestricted, and actually opened a lot of doors as well. It was a great experience. And then the second year, when we were asked to come back and not only be nominated again, but to perform with B. Slade and Kevin Lemons, it was just like, whoa. Actually, we opened up the award show. So that was a lot of pressure. If you open an award show or close an award show, you got to come with it. So I was very glad that you and your team entrusted us to open that award show, and I think we did. I think we did all right.
Listen, you guys not only did all right, you guys were phenomenal. And at the time we were planning the show and trying to figure out the placements of performances, we all were in agreement that that would be a great way to open the show. And you guys definitely did not disappoint. You brought that Chicago flair that we were looking for, and that's what it was really all about. And I'm appreciative that, artists like you who have, come from such a rich legacy and have been able to do some other great things, see our little award show as something that's significant, because the truth of the matter is I always try to tell these indie artists that, these platforms are ones you want to support because these are the ones that's trying to put you on. They're the ones that's trying to give you a platform. And so we're appreciative that you were honored by the nominations and the actual wins. and the opportunity to perform. So enough about the Key of Gospel. We're glad, man. Again, congratulations on your wins and the performances and all that. And, you know, we coming to Tampa this year, so I need you to gas it up. Get the tickets ready. Praise God. Hallelujah. So anyway, let's move on. I want to talk to you really quickly about your music. So, you know, the single that you guys performed at the 3rd annual show for the Key of Gospel was Hold On. So talk about Hold On, and then we're going to talk about the latest single, which is The Declaration. So let's go down that list. How did that all come about? Were you nervous? Are you excited? Did it do well? What happened?
Okay, well, actually, Hold On was written by Nate Bean out of Nashville.
Oh yeah, I know Nate Bean.
Nate Bean is an amazing writer. And
yes,
I knew Nate, but I did not know him personally. And actually, I had all of my material ready for the recording, and I was missing something. And I was like, I need something else. I need one more. I'm not complete without one more. And I called my best friend, Michelle Prather, of the Kurt Carr Singers.
Yes.
And she's a perfect person for you. And so she connected me with Nate, and Nate sent me this song, and it was a rough draft. Didn't have any music to it. It was just, you know, background vocals and Nate singing it. So I took it to my MD. We put some music to it. We brought it to life. I have a word, my group, we call it unrestricted. So we and literally, that was not supposed to be the first single, but it went over so well at the live recording. We did like maybe 3 reprises of it.
Wow.
And everybody kept asking for it and asking for it. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just release this. And so we did, and it went far. It went really far. People still love it today. As a matter of fact, the new single that's out, you know, they like it, but they want to hear Hold On. So we're still Hold On 2 years later, and people are still requesting it. They're still playing it on the radio stations, and I'm just forever grateful. That was our first single that we released in 2018.
Yes, sir.
Newest single entitled The Declaration.
Bam, that's what I'm talking about. See, listen, every artist, if you're watching this video, you see what Nickolas is doing. You always bring your music to the interview. You want to put it in their face.
Yes.
Let them know. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
This is a single that we just released January the 31st of this year, 2020. And this one is dear to me because this is one that I wrote. The Lord allowed me songwriter, and this is one of the songs that I wrote off the album. I wrote about 6 of them, but this is the first one I'm releasing that I wrote. And I actually wrote this song back in 2007. And the first time we performed it, one of my singers, you know her, Denise, First Lady Denise Davis, she got married, and she's like, I want the group to do praise and worship. And so I was like, praise and worship for your wedding? And she's like, yeah, and I want you all to sing the declaration. So we did the declaration, and honest to God, after we got through singing it, it was time for her to walk down the aisle, but the place had went up in a praise.
Wow.
We had to calm the people down so she could walk down the aisle. And so that song pretty much talks about the attributes of God. Because I could hear somebody saying, well, what is the declaration? It's really talking about the attributes of God. What is God to you? He's our Savior. He's our Messiah. He's our Father.
Yes.
We're just calling out the different attributes of God and what he's done for us. And in the end, we got a good old chant that says, great. He's great.
Right.
He's great. Great. So that's out now, and it's a good headbanger. Summer is coming up, so you want to get that and roll your windows down and bang that while you're driving. You can get that on all of your digital outlets.
Yes, all of the digital outlets. And listen, you said something that was so key is about, you know, banging it out, and I have definitely been banging it out. It's a part of my playlist. And by the way, everybody, those of you that are watching, all of our Indie Artist Corner artists have been put into the All Access Gospel Spotify Indie Artist Corner playlist. It is on Spotify. I need you to go check that out. Go over and subscribe to our playlist over there. It's going to have music from Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted, and all of the other Indie Artist Corner recipients that have come along up to now are on that playlist, and we're just going to keep building it and building and adding into it. There's some really, really great music from people like JaCoy Griffin, Robin McGee, Cardell Booker, who sings with James Fortune and Fire. I mean, we've got some great people on there. You definitely want to go check that out. So go over to Spotify, and while you're on Spotify, subscribing to the All Access Gospel Indie Artist Quarter playlist, I need you to go get Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted. I need you to go to iTunes, Yo Tunes, They Tunes, My Tunes, God Tunes, everybody tunes.
Absolutely.
And get this good music. So Nickolas, really quickly, now I'm doing a gospel album. Okay, it's a comedy album. Okay, well, I'm doing an actual regular gospel album with my choir, but I'm also doing a comedy album, and it's going to be kind of like a spoof songs, and we're going to gospelize just crazy stuff, right? And one of the songs that I have is called Jesus, I Want a Fried Pork Chop.
Okay.
Now, look, not pork chop, P-O-R-K,
Poke,
but poke. See, because when you Southern from the South, we say poke chops, right?
Right.
And so I need you to jump in on that. You give me a narration or something. And come on with it. I've been putting all the artists on the spot.
Oh,
No,
my Lord.
really, I'm doing that though. Seriously.
Really? Oh, God. Oh, narration. Oh, wow.
Something like it's Sunday morning, and we know when we get out of church, we're gonna want a little fried pork chop and some collard greens and some candied yam. You know, I don't know what you're gonna do, but we'll get together on it. But listen, I just like to have a little fun. I think that, you know, as gospel artists and creatives, it's just great when we can relax. And yes, we're serving a great God, and you know all of that. But we can laugh. It's no problem. We, you know, the saints laugh a little bit. Yeah. All right. So look, really quickly, I want to talk to you about what you have coming up next. So tell the people, you know, you got new music coming out or any new events? What's going on? What's coming up?
Well, actually, yeah, as I stated earlier, we'll be 15 years old. We'll celebrate. We have a big anniversary concert each year. It normally takes place the weekend of Father's Day. However, because of what's going on, you know, in our world today and the COVID-19, we've actually kind of pushed it back a little bit to make sure that people are able to come and able to enjoy it. So this year, instead of it being Father's Day weekend, we've switched the date to Saturday, August the 29th, where we will be celebrating our 15th year anniversary, as well as our full CD release of the full entire project. So it's anniversary and CD release in one. And listen, I need everybody to follow my page. I know Derrick's going to be there. He'll share it. But we have some heavy hitters coming this year. Again, it's our 15th year anniversary, so I wanted to do it big, like big, big, big. And so we have so many great people coming from near and far. I got some heavy hitters that have collaborated with me down through the years. I got some surprise guests that's coming, some people that y'all used to hear back in the day with the Tommies. Trying to let you in on a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Some other people that I've sang background for, because I do sing that.
Yeah.
So I got some surprises and some things up my sleeve. So you want to be in Chicago August the 29th for this anniversary and CD release. So that's what I have coming up, amongst other different musical engagements that Unrestricted has throughout the city of Chicago. I know we'll be in Detroit April the 25th. And we'll actually be back in Florida, not Tampa, but we'll be in Fort Lauderdale Labor Day weekend. So just follow my page and you can check all of our dates. And if we're in your area, come check us out.
Listen, go check them out. You know, again, as you said, I'll be there for your 15th anniversary. Can't wait. And also going to I need to bring somebody, a part of my crew from All Access Gospel, and so we can cover that. And just a little quick plug, you know, we're doing not only the online publication of All Access Gospel, but we also have All Access Gospel Magazine, which is going to be the print version of what we do online. And so I'm so excited about that, to be able to have all of these different platforms that are going to be, I think, instrumental in guiding and shaping where indie artist music is going in the gospel industry. And so with that being said, man, Nickolas, you got some great things going on. You talked a little bit about, or I heard you mention, and I already knew this, of course, but you do background work. Tell us some of the people that you've done background work with.
Oh my God, of course, I always say this whenever somebody asks me this question. I have to thank, first of all, like I said, Bishop Willie James Campbell and the St. James Church of God in Christ, because that's
the preaching machine himself.
Yes, my bishop. Bishop had so many people coming through our church, and I got the opportunity to start singing background for a lot of them because that's where they saw me at. So I've been blessed to do stuff with Dorinda Clark Cole, Karen Clark Sheep, Megan Williams, Micah Stampley, Jason Nelson, Jonathan Nelson, and recently for the last 5 or 6 years, the great Vicki Winans, who is my boss. We call her boss lady, and so many others. But it's been great. It's really been great. They've been wonderful. It's been a great opportunity, great open doors. And let me say this too, artists. If you are an artist, and I don't mean this in any harm, but I learned this from Bishop. If you're an artist and you're doing background for somebody, make sure that when you're on their time, it's their time. One of the things that has kept us moving and kept us faithful, and most artists appreciate about me, although that I'm an artist, when I'm on their time, I'm not promoting unrestricted because I'm on their time. So make sure that when you on someone else's time, you do exactly what it is that you're paid to do. And the reward will come later because they respect you for that. And that's integral. And from that has come them saying, hey, you never promote your stuff, on our time, and we respect it. So this is what we're going to do for you. And so I've had people like Vicki and Karen who have endorsed me or pushed us or shared something that we were doing. And it got mad populational views. So just keep that in mind, artists.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually, you just really kind of beat me to the punch because I was going to ask you about saying something to either aspiring artists that have not maybe done it yet or taken the leap, but they're thinking about it, and or those who have, and maybe they're struggling trying to figure out their way through this industry. Give them a little advice about, but I know one of the things that you just mentioned was absolutely important, but is there anything else that you want to share with them, about this journey, this experience, and what they can expect?
Absolutely. One, I will always say, be prepared. Be prepared so that you don't have to get prepared. I used to tell me that all the time. Make sure that if you have a group, your singers are ready. Or if you're by yourself, make sure you're ready. Make sure that you always look presentable. You never know when you're going to be called. You may be called at the last minute of the program because someone didn't show up, and that's your opportunity. That's God working. That's your open door. So make sure that you're always prepared. You got a song in your pocket. You look the part. You have something to say, and that you have something of substance. Also, I will say, just because you've heard my background and my upbringing, don't think that it has been easy for me. This thing is hard work. And if God has not called you to do it, if you know that it's not your passion, it'll be very easy for you to give up. So if you know that God has called you and it's your passion, keep going. Just because one door has slammed in your face, don't mean that all doors are going to slam in your face. Eventually, things will happen. They will happen in their own time. We're 15 years old, and it's still happening for us. And I'll be honest to say that we've been around 15 years, but we didn't start getting traffic until like the last five or 6 years. We just started getting notarized and getting noticed. And you have to think about it this way. We all have to start somewhere. The Kirk Franklins and the Yolanda Adams, they had to have a start. And it took years and years to build what they have now. So don't give up. Keep building. When you get depressed, keep building. When you get sad, keep building. When they tell you no, keep building. When they say you're not good enough, keep building. And even when they tell you you're not good enough, everything is a teaching lesson. Learn, sit down, think about what you can spruce up, where you're rough around the edges, so that you can make sure that you clean those things up, so that when it does come time for you to get that big stage, you're already prepared. I tell my group all the time, and be faithful to the small things. I tell my group all the time, you can't expect them to call us for the award show if you're not on time for an engagement around the corner from your house. Because you have to make sure that you are ready and you're disciplined for the big leagues. If you can't do it on a small stage, you're not going to be able to do it on big leagues. So make sure that you tell your people that you're always on time. You're always ready. You're always prepared. You always look the part. These are things that make a great artist. I've seen so many great artists and great musicians get passed over, not because of their talents, but because their work ethic is not there. They're not on time. So make sure that your work, you can sing and do all these riffs and runs, but if your work ethic is not presentable, you will get passed over. Make sure that your foundation and that your house, the old folks say your house is in order. So when it comes time for you to get to the big leagues, you're ready. And it comes like easy sailing for you. So that would be my advice. Invest in yourself. Lastly, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I can't say enough. Invest in yourself. You see all of this stuff right here? This is an investment. You know, it may cost you, it may hurt your pocket, but it's an investment. Get you a photo shoot, get you some backdrops, get you some banners, get you some product. Invest in yourself. You can't ask people to buy your product if your product does not look good. You don't want to go to Walmart and get a bottle of lotion and the label is torn off. Invest in yourself.
Well, listen, absolutely sage advice for all of you guys that are out there, up and coming artists. Those of you who are even aspiring to be an artist, I'm telling you something, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, no man, you know, build a house except he count up the cost. You really need to count up the cost of what it takes to be in this industry. Because, Nickolas, you know, just as well as I do, it's a rough business. And people look at, oh, gospel. No, baby, it's still the music industry, okay? And so all of the things that you said, I think was just really great advice for everyone out there pursuing this. And so, man, I just thank you again, not just for your advice to these artists, but also just for being here again and for all that you're doing and your contribution to the gospel industry. I know your grandfather will be proud of you for continuing this legacy, moving it forward. And I look forward to many, many more great and huge things for you, bigger platforms, bigger stages, all of that. So listen, you guys, I want to thank my boy again, Nickolas. Before we get out of here, I need you to tell the people again how they can find you on social media.
That's right. Hit your boy up on Facebook or Instagram at Nickolas Lathan or Nickolas Lathan and Unrestricted. You can find me. You can get on, again, Spotify, iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, Google Play, Pandora, and type in Nickolas Lathan with a K, Nickolas, Lathan, Lathan, and Unrestricted. You can find all our music and products. And I'll be happy to hear from you, happy to answer any more questions or give you sound advice, or just, hey, chat it up with you. I'm just a good old West Side boy from the city of Chicago. Get at me.
Absolutely, man. So listen, everybody, I want you to just remember to go check out Nickolas Lathan's social media, check out his music. Please do that. It's so important that we support all of these gospel music artists that are out here doing great work. And I mean, it's great music too. It's not just saying support for support's sake. It's really worth supporting. All right. But in the meantime, I also need you guys to support Nickolas. I'm personally challenging you. I need you to go to all our platforms.
Yes.
And like us and share and subscribe and click and follow and you know what to do. You know how we do it. All right, everybody. So go to allaccessgospel.com. You can also go to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AA Gospel, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of Indie Artist Corner with the legendary, up and coming, legacy. Nickolas Lathan, Unrestricted. Thank you guys so much. All right, Nick, we out. This is your boy Derrick Huggins for All Access Gospel Indie Artist Corner. Peace. We out.